Well, yesterday the NFL Top 100 came out, and we got some things to talk about. What is up, football fans? Yes, I'm saying football fans because this is the NFL Top 100 list that I'm going to be discussing. And obviously I'm going to talk about a Miami Dolphin. Come on. There was some things, I was watching the NFL Top 100. I was looking at, some of the people on the list, some people that got snubbed, some people were higher, lower. And I was just sitting there and I was wondering to myself, what the heck is going on? So I did some research, right? So what this video is essentially going to be like is I'm going to talk about some players I think, should have been ranked differently. I'm going to talk about some players that should have been ranked that aren't ranked. And yeah. But before we jump into that, real quick, NFL Top 100. What the heck is that? Well, this is what it says officially. The NFL Top 100 is an annual list that has featured the top 100 players in the NFL Football League, as chosen by fellow NFL players. The rankings are based on an off-season poll organized by the NFL, whereby players vote on their peers based on their performance for the recent NFL season. So what that essentially means is they get some, and I'm going to talk about that in 2 seconds, NFL players to come in, sit down, hand them a sheet, and say, list your top 20 favorite players. And they do that, and they make a list of 100 off of those players that come in. Then there was an article that came out, and I found this very interesting because there was a tweet, right? So essentially in this article, it talks about the NFL Top 100. How does it work? How do they actually vote? What is this? What is that? All that stuff, right? So essentially this article talks about, the NFL Top 100, but points out that Eagles linebacker Connor Barwin tweeted out, everyone knows no players actually vote for who's on the list, right? And then ex-punter and Pat McAfee, if you guys don't watch this podcast, it's fantastic. Go watch it. He tweets, loves this tweet. So then the article keeps on going and kind of says, ideally, all players would do it, essentially meaning all players would come in and do this ballot and vote and try to give you an idea of who the top players they have is. But it goes, this year, the league says only 481 of them actually voted. That is 28.3% of the league. And, the NFL came out and said this whole spiel. So it's not really, this is not what the NFL said, but this is what the article said. So it's really not a top 100 list. It's the 100 players who received the highest vote total from players who attempted to list their personal top 20, presumably without the benefit of all 32 rosters or starting lineups or Pro Bowl qualifiers or anything else that would ensure they aren't accidentally overlooking someone as they pull 20 names out of thin air. Also, you need to realize when the voting happens. So the voting period is from November to April. There's a huge voting period where they'll bring players in to try to get them to vote for things and try to get them to vote for the top 100 in November to April. And a lot of players' thoughts and processes and feelings on certain other players could change between those spans of November, which is around week, 10, 11, till April, which is the draft. So, this article, it's a great article. I'm going to link it below. Be sure to check it out, read it. Kind of talks about that they need to update and redo the NFL Top 100 when it comes to the players voting for other players that they like. Because a lot of people, and it even talks about it, that they'll list players on there that probably haven't even played all season. Probably that, they're just like, hey, whatever, I like this guy. I'm going to put his name down. Which means that a lot of the other players that they have to fill in the roster, they kind of do themselves. The NFL, that is. So I find that very interesting before I jump into the spiel where you're going to hear me talk about certain players that I think got snubbed, certain players that I think, should have been in different areas and all that other stuff. So I thought I wanted to give you guys a little breakdown of how the NFL Top 100, what it is and how it works and how it should be fixed. And why should it be fixed? Well, here's why. I'm going to start off with the generic obvious. You see everything around me. You're on the channel. You've been subscribed, which thank you. And if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that button if you like what you see in this video. If you don't feel like you need to subscribe, but please subscribe. I'm a huge Miami Dolphins fan. Got it tattooed on my arm. Love the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins stunk last year. Last ranked in every possible category you could think of, bottom 2, bottom 3 in the NFL. I get it. I get it, the Dolphins stink, right? But I looked at players that were in the top 100, right? And the best player on the Miami Dolphins, hands down, last year was Devante Parker. You know, the man ranked 4th in the NFL in receiving yards and 4th in the NFL in touchdown. He had 1,202 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. 4th in both, right? And I was thinking to myself, because somebody asked me, one of my subscribers, one of you lovely people, asked me, hey, Doug, who do you think, do you think we'll have a player in the top 100? And I was like, probably not. There's no player really that deserves to be in the top 100. We were horrible last year. And then I went, but wait. Devante Parker was 4th in receiving yards and 4th in touchdown out of all wide receivers in the entire NFL. Maybe they'll throw Devante Parker in there. Again, I say they because, like I said, the NFL brings about 20% of the players in, has them fill out their top 20 favorite players, and then they kind of fill in the rest with their own doodads and all that other stuff. Like I said, Devante Parker, 4th in the NFL, 1,202 yards, 4th in the NFL, 9 touchdowns. And I looked at the list, and I'm not even saying he should be top 50, right? I'm not even going to say he should break top 50. But I looked at the list of wide receivers that were from about 100 to 49. So again, top 50, but again, it would switch up and he would be in a different position. And there are a few names on this list that I went, really? Over Devante Parker? Really? You look at Allen Robinson, he was 93, 11,447 yards, 7 touchdowns. Again, Devante Parker was better, but he still has over 1,000 yards, had a really good season. Cooper Kupp, 10 touchdowns, really good, but only 1,161 yards. Still not as good, but again, this is where my problem comes in. This is where I was like, I'm going to make a video. I got to talk about this because this chapped my, what I want to say. DK Metcalf. And again, I'm not saying he's not a very good wide receiver. I'm not saying he's dangerous, big, physical wide receiver. Very good wide receiver. 900 yards, 7 touchdowns last year. Now, again, this is where what the article was talking about kind of feeds into the problem, right? You go in November and you go and you make your list. You might not put Devante Parker on there because you still have a second half of the season to play. And Devante Parker started doing really well towards the second half of the season. DK Metcalf was doing pretty decent towards the middle of the season. But if you're going to sit here and tell me, going off of the 2019 season, you're going to put a list of the top 100 2020 NFL players, and you're going to say DK Metcalf, who has 900 yards and 7 touchdowns, deserves to be on this list over Devante Parker, who has 1,202 yards and 9 touchdowns? Come on. Then you have Keenan Allen, again, over 1,000 yards, 1,199, 6 touchdowns. He deserves to be on this list. Larry Fitzgerald will always deserve to be on the list. He's the GOAT. I don't care that he has 804 and 4 touchdowns. He deserves to be on the list over. He is what it is. Tyler Lockett, again, not as many yards, not as many touchdowns. Jarvis Landry, again, not as many yards, not as many touchdowns. Odell, not as many. He was 4th. There's only 3 people that have more touchdowns and more yards than Devante Parker. So for me to raffle off this list and tell you all the names of people who didn't have as many yards or touchdowns as Devante Parker is redundant. Because again, I'm not saying he should be top 10, top 50, but you got Davante Adams, 997 yards and 5 touchdowns in there over Devante Parker. What? Like I said, the voting needs to be made a little bit different because Connor Barwin came out and said what he said. Pat McAfee came out and what he said because these players do not take this list seriously. They're probably like, oh, God, I just got to get this over with. I'll say my spiel into the camera. Can I get out of here now? So that's my little spiel about a Dolphin, right? Why isn't Devante Parker on the list? Heck, put Devante Parker at 93 and I'm happy, right? I just feel like Devante Parker should have been in the top 100. But that's it. I'm beyond biased. That's the only Dolphin I think should be in the top 100. That's it. Now, talking talking future Dolphins. I'm talking Dolphins of going into 2020. Why isn't Byron Jones on this list? Now, I get it, right? I get it. Interceptions are sexy. Everyone wants the interceptions. But if you're a lockdown corner, if you shut down some of the top receivers on this list, don't you feel like you deserve to be on the list at some point in it? Like, there's 100. There's 100 people. Byron Jones versus, I think, the top receiver on this list, Michael Thomas. He only allowed him to catch 3 of 4 passes for 29 yards last year. Stephon Diggs, a guy that was on number 54 on this list. He only allowed him to catch 2 of 3 passes for 21 yards. Allen Robinson, the guy 93, right? Maybe even put Byron Jones at 93. He only allowed for him to catch 2 of 5 passes for 10 yards. The man let him catch 2 passes for 5 yards each. Or maybe 1 pass for 1 yard, another pass for 9 yards. But he only let him catch 2 passes for 10 yards. I got my paper in my hand. I can't hold it up. I think, honestly, Byron Jones should have been on this list. That's a future Dolphin. But then, another name I want to talk about that was snubbed off this list, and he's not a Dolphin. He's not a Dolphin now, and he wasn't a Dolphin ever then. Carson Wentz. I'm surprised Carson Wentz wasn't on this list. You got Josh Allen, and you got Kyler Murray made the list over Carson Wentz. Kyler Murray was number 90. Josh Allen was 87. But you look at the stats, right? Carson Wentz, 4,039 passing yards. Josh Allen, only 3,089. Kyler Murray, only 3,722. Not as much as Carson Wentz. Touchdowns, Carson Wentz, 27. The other two, 20 each. Interceptions, Carson Wentz, only 7. Kyler Murray, 12. Josh Allen, 9. Yes, the big thing that you'll notice is rushing yards. Josh Allen and Kyler Murray have 510, 544, whereas Carson Wentz only has 243. And if you look at completion percentage, if we want to go that route, I'm not even going to talk about Josh Allen because I don't want to get in trouble from Bills fans because he's the worst. Kyler Murray, 64.4 completion percentage. Carson Wentz, 63.9. I feel like Carson Wentz should have been in the top 100. Now, there's some other snubs, and I want you guys to comment that below before I get into the big shbamolzy or whatever you want to call it. We'll get to that point, right? One other thing, and it's not that he doesn't deserve to be in the top 100. It kind of more reiterates why I think Devante Parker should be in the top 100. Stephon Gilmore, right? Deserves his spot. Cool. Stephon Gilmore is one of the top corners in the league. I just find it funny if you did watch the top 100 list and you know how normally they show highlights of the players doing really great things. Where's the highlights of him facing off against Devante Parker? It's a jab. I apologize. I just had to throw it in there, but that's even more of a reason. The fact that he owns Stephon Gilmore all of 2019, he deserves to be in the top 100, Devante Parker. But the big thing, right? We're looking at the top 10. Looking at the top 10 of 2020, right? These are 2019 players. They voted for you know what I'm saying. Number 10, right? Derrick Henry. Number 9, Stephon Gilmore. Like I said, not upset with him being the number 1 corner on this list. He is a fantastic corner. DeAndre Hopkins, number 8, again. George Kittle, best tight end in the league. Christian McCaffrey, best running back in the league. I honestly think Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the league. Michael Thomas is the number 1 wide receiver. He deserves it. He does. I'm just messing around. He does deserve to be the number 1 wide receiver. I just think it's funny that Byron Jones completely shut him down in 2019. But Byron Jones isn't on this list. Number 4, for the second time in a row, is Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Aaron Donald. Nothing to take away from him. I actually like him at number 3. Super disruptive. I would love to have Aaron Donald on my team. Number 2, Russell Wilson. And number 1, Lamar Jackson. Now, here's my problem with the top 10. And you guys already know. And I got a preference, and I will talk about why I think the way I do. I honestly think Patrick Mahomes should be number 1. Now, here comes the Lamar Jackson fans, here comes the Raven fans commenting below, calling me, hey, your team sucks. Your team went 5-11. You know nothing about good quarterbacks. You're just a hater. Worry about your own team. I feel a comment. Nothing against Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is going to be super dangerous. I actually wanted to draft Lamar Jackson when the draft was happening. Fun fact, 32 other teams, because the Ravens passed on him once, didn't draft Lamar Jackson. So can't really be like, hey, but I did want to draft Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is going to be fantastic. The next Michael Vick, maybe even better. Nothing against Lamar Jackson. So people who are going to get offended by me saying Lamar Jackson shouldn't be number one, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out and realize I have no hate, no ill will, nothing towards Lamar Jackson. My point is, your Super Bowl MVP, the guy who literally single-handedly took the Kansas City Chiefs through the playoffs and even through the Super Bowl to win them that Super Bowl, should be number one. Now again, like I said in the article, they vote on this throughout the year. So some people, yes, do vote during or after the Super Bowl, but some of these players do vote before the season's even over. That's flawed. That needs to change. I said, read the article. But Patrick Mahomes should be number one. We'll look at regular season stats, right? When it comes to passing yards, Patrick Mahomes, and he played one less game than Lamar Jackson. He played 14 games. Lamar Jackson only played 15. Again, they rested their starters for both teams. Patrick Mahomes, 4,031 passing yards. Lamar Jackson, 3,127. When it comes to touchdowns, Lamar Jackson has 10 on Patrick Mahomes. When it comes to interceptions, 36-26, I'm sorry, I should tell you. When it comes to interceptions, Lamar Jackson has 6. Patrick Mahomes has 5. And when it comes to completion percentage, Patrick Mahomes has 65.9 and Lamar Jackson has 66.1. And yes, I will talk about it because it is a huge part of his game. Lamar Jackson, 1,206 rushing yards with 7 touchdowns, and Patrick Mahomes, 218 with 2 touchdowns. Yes. Lamar, they have very, if you look at their stats, it's very like this throughout the stats, right? Lamar Jackson is the top rushing quarterback, top rusher in the league. He is, like I said, the next coming of Michael Vick, maybe better, right? But when it comes to passing, I think Mahomes is a little bit better when it comes to passing. Again, you look at it, Lamar has more touchdowns, but Mahomes has more passing yards, which means Lamar didn't have much to go to throw these touchdowns. And Lamar has 1 more interception. And again, before you get angry at me, because I could feel it, has nothing to do with Lamar being bad. I think it should be 1, Patrick Mahomes, 2, Lamar Jackson, 3, Aaron Donald, 4, Russell Wilson. I think that's what it should be. But again, you cannot not look at his playoff appearance and his playoff games, because playoffs are a huge part of a quarterback and an NFL player's history. There's a ton of quarterbacks and there's a ton of players that when they get to the playoffs, they choke and they never make it to the big game. I know you're commenting it, so that's why I'm looking at you like this. I know what you're going to comment. I get it. I'm not even going to say it because it breaks my heart. But he did go to a Super Bowl, so I don't want to hear it. There are, Carson Palmer, Andy Dalton, the Bengals. Always get to the playoffs, choke, right? Lamar Jackson in the playoffs didn't do well at all. He played 1 game, 365 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, a 52.5 completion percentage last year. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, went to the Super Bowl, won it, threw for 900 yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 64.3 completion percentage. Patrick Mahomes is the reason the Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. And if you don't think that, I don't know what to tell you when the man single-handedly put the team on his back and just the Texans game. That was Patrick Mahomes. It's ridiculous. So again, just to reiterate, nothing against Lamar Jackson. I don't think Lamar Jackson's bad. I don't think that he doesn't deserve to be in the top 5. I just think that the Super Bowl MVP and the guy who got his team their Super Bowl should be 1. I think it should be Patrick Mahomes 1, Lamar Jackson 2, Aaron Donald 3, Russell Wilson 4. That's it. That's what I got to say about all this. Be sure to comment below. I'm very interested in what you guys think about Devante Parker not being in there, what you guys think about Byron Jones not being in there. If you think I'm just being a homer for those two, but I give you a lot of facts and a lot of things to back that up. I'm interested to hear what you guys and who you guys think is a huge snub from this year. And I'm interested to see who you guys think are on the list that probably shouldn't have been on the list. Also, I'm really interested in what you guys think of changing the format of how they vote and stuff. Because like I said, the article's listed below. Let me know. And let me know. Who do you think should be one? Do you think it should be Lamar Jackson? Or do you think it should be Patrick Mahomes? Be sure to comment below. And I'm going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day. And this comment comes from Miami Dolphins fan. And he says, comment of the day or something. But Doug, are you worried with players / coaches on our team opting out for the season? Not necessarily. Again, we don't know. They have till August 3rd to opt out. So they still have a good amount of time before, the deadline to opt out happens. So as of right now, but again, I'm recording this Wednesday night. You guys are watching this Thursday at noon. I haven't heard of anything. Again, if something does happen, you'll get a video. It doesn't really worry me because if it does happen, there's nothing the Dolphins really can do about it except for like every other team that is dealing with opt-outs. Just plug somebody back in, hope that they can do their thing and play. Think of it as an injury, right? You got to make sure your team has depth for injuries so someone can come in and do their job and you can continue to be successful. Think of it the same way with an opt-out, right? Say, God forbid, a Dolphin does decide, listen, I'm going to take care of myself and my family first, and decides not to play. Next man up. That's the way you got to think about it. But Miami Dolphin fan, thank you for the comment. I hope I answered your question. Other than that, that's it. That's the video. I hope I entertained you guys. I hope you guys liked it. I hope I didn't piss off too many Raven fans and other fans that I talked about your team. Hey, man, I'm not saying anyone's bad. I'm saying what I'm saying. But be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's where I, talk most and repost things most before I come on here and do this stuff. Check out fan2fannetwork.com. It's a big website. All 32 YouTubers are on there. NFL YouTubers. I don't know why I just said YouTubers. I know I got about a bunch of Raven YouTubers on there and all that stuff. So be sure to go check it out. See what they have to say about the top 100. I'm pretty sure they made videos. Check out DolphinsTalk.com. If you're a Dolphin fan like me, you're going to want to check that site out. Ton of Dolphin content. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. If news breaks, you're going to get a video. If not, you're still going to get a video because I'm not going to stop making videos for you guys. Love you guys. I'm going to make videos for you guys minimum 3-4 times a week. That's my dedication. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.